Lots and lots of updates for animations, lots of updates for Dynasty, and we even have a team builder release date. Let's go. What is up, everybody? It is Jake back with the MF Film Room. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things EA college football, hit that red subscribe button. Do it. Also hit the like button as well, and follow me on Twitter/X. That fame is growing. And if you like college football content, go to my other channel, Master Football with Jake Posey. The link is in the description. But enough about all that EA college football content. Let's go. Guys, the biggest news in EA college football, updates, everything like that, by far, the #1 story just came out yesterday via Twitter. We got to check it out. Not even a question. Here it is. We got the Lou Groza Award. We all thought, oh my gosh, they're going to have the Heisman, but none of the other award names in the game. Nope, they got the Lou Groza Award in the game. The best kicker in the country. Let's go. Okay, that's not the news that we're talking about here, but that is important news. However, something that was way, way bigger came out. It was from a guy by the name of Mike Straw. We're going to check out a link here to his stream that he had. It was a really long stream, about 45 minutes. I went through the entire thing. Some really cool tidbits from it. Let's check that out. So here on Mike Straw Media, and I think he's a big-time Twitch streamer, and again, he does a couple different things here. He's really, really well respected in the, the realm of sports and college and video games and things like that. So for him, he had a couple updates for UFC 5, so he's very, very well connected. Eric Rayweather, a big-time Madden producer of content, he is speaks highly of Mike Straw, so I'm going to go ahead and take his word for it here. But Mike Straw talks about let's talk college football 25 and gameplay news via stream VOD. So again, about 45 minutes long. You check it out in the description here. I'm going to link it to it, but I want to go through it because I was able to pull some really, really cool things from it in addition to other people as well. So these updates that we got, like I said, this is mostly about Dynasty. I'm going to be concentrating on Dynasty, but there's a couple different sections we're going to go through. First of all, we're going to go through what we were able to pull from it from a bigger perspective, and then I'm going to get a little more granular because you guys know me. I like to go deep dive on this stuff. Anyways, let's get going. Here it is with EA Sports college football out yet. And again, they keep on tweeting no. But again, look at here what they say here. According to Mike Straw Media, these are some of the notes he's gotten from College Football 25. So there's no crossplay for online Dynasty. Unfortunately, you got an Xbox, your friend's got a PS4, or excuse me, PS5. That's actually an important point we're going to talk about here in a second. You're not going to be able to play an online Dynasty as of right now. They are working on it, he said, but they're like, you know what, dude, don't let this kind of hold up the whole process. Let's worry about just the Dynasty that you're on right now. If you're on Xbox Series X or S, or if you're on PlayStation 5, just let that be where it's at. The next one here is no mascot mode. And the very first comment here is no mascot mode is a damn shame. Okay, I want to make sure that we're clear about something. Yes, it's unfortunate. It's a quick thing to add, but I want to make sure, actually, my boy Bordeaux, he actually put it very, very well when you check out this tweet here. So Bordeaux, he does some good stuff as well on the EA college football side. He says, mascot mashup is a game mode. You play 1 or 2 times and never touch again. If it isn't in College Football 25, it's not the end of the world. There are so many things I'd rather have EA focus on and get that right than that. They can always add it on later. And again, like I said, again, mascot mode, oh no, it's unfortunate. First of all, they're playing on the blue turf. I love that. But who cares? All right, continuing on here, it says the gameplay will be much faster than Madden. Helmets may get knocked off, no BCS option for Dynasty, no college game day. So no college game day. Some people were saying, that sucks about that. Custom playbooks are in the game, so that's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to be a big-time custom playbook guy. I'm also, hopefully, if they have the ability to share them, I would love that because I would love to be able to set up playbooks for people, especially people who are like, yo, dude, I need some help. This is how you kind of read things. I'd love to be able to do that from an offensive perspective. Gameplay footage is coming out soon. There is no ESPN license or scoreboard. That's actually a good thing that we're going to talk about later on here. It says there will be a ticker at the bottom of the screen. So again, maybe not ESPN focused, but there will be a ticker there. He says that 5-star players will feel completely different than 2-star players. We're going to get into that in another second here. And there's going to be way more equipment than Madden. And Mike actually came out and tweeted some of this other things as well that he wanted to say. He says that EA Sports is all in on the series with the goal of it becoming yearly. And again, I'm betting that what they're saying is that they're making this game not with like, oh yeah, well, it's a 50-50 shot, it's going to come out next year. I'm just betting the fact that because they have so much investment, the fact that they're paying the players, you know that they're knee deep into this sort of stuff here. One thing that he was really, really highlighting here, and the big thing that he said was from what he could tell, option offenses play a big role in gameplay. A lot was developed for it. He even said at one point, and he used the video game terminology, He's like, option offenses will be OP. His words, not mine. Also said here that the wear and tear system is more noticeable in longer games and with more sim play style, aka what he's trying to say there is, with what he's trying to say right there, he's trying to say more dynasty, maybe a road to the college football playoff, maybe those more official games as opposed to a 4-minute quarter, PvP on Play Now or something like that. He said, and again, this is connected to the other thing he said before there, or the other tweet from is EA Sports College Football Out Yet. We'll be able to tell the difference between higher recruited stars and smaller players on the field. I'm assuming he means smaller recruited players, not necessarily smaller players out there. But again, you understand what he's trying to say. So I broke this out into 3 different sections here that we're going to talk about because there's a couple things. First of all, lots and lots of updates for animations, lots of updates for Dynasty, and we even have a team builder release date. Let's go. So the first one here, like I said, we want to get into the graphic and animation updates. So the one thing here that we have to remember here, and a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well, no college game day, no ESPN signing. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Remember here, one quote that was said from Mike Straw. He says, if the NFL doesn't allow it or want it, it won't be in the game. What that means is that if you think about Madden, they're very, very strict. I mean, Madden will literally, not necessarily Madden, excuse me, but the NFL. The NFL is very, very particular about how they present their game. They don't want it to be assigned to multiple different places. There's a reason why they have an exclusive rights deal with EA. I'm betting it's because they can control it that much more easily. So with the ability to control it that much more easily, they're going to have their fingers in a lot of things here. Everything has to be run by, does Roger Goodell like this? Does Roger Goodell like that? Maybe not typically, but again, at the end of the day, Roger Goodell has to sign off for it because he's the one that's going to answer for it. If something goes wrong, if something presents the league in a bad light, whatever it is, he's the one that has to do that. With college, it's a little bit different because college, the official licensing with CLC, basically, if something upsets 2 schools, but 118 other schools or 125 other schools are okay with it, it's kind of like, hey man, we got to keep a lot of people happy here. That means that this team, and you've heard this before with the game, is that this game can be a little bit more custom because they don't have the tentacles of the NFL in there trying to meddle and alter what the game is going to look like. We're going to get into that here in a second. It says, because Madden is still being made, think about this, Madden is still being made for previous gen consoles. This actually is an Eric Rayweather quote right here. So Madden is still being made for previous gen consoles. It's being made for PlayStation 4 and stuff like that. This is the first true 100% current gen football game out there. So with that, again, and also with the fact that there's that connection to the fact that they don't have the limitations of the NFL or the NFL looking over their back when they do it on certain things. They have way more gear. You can get your helmet knocked off. There's way more animations. Also, part of this is because the college game is a little bit different. You only need to get 1 foot in bounds for catches in college. There's tons of options added because again, they took some of the gameplay and some of the animations over from Madden, and then they added a lot of the option ones because there's a lot of options that are really irregular. The flex bone, fake this way, you got a little motion, something like that. There's lots of cool things you can do like that you need to add onto it. So again, think about that. We've got the only first true current gen football game. In addition to, you don't have the tentacles of the NFL weighing it down. You can do a lot more cool things with the animations, the presentations. There's this and that. There's lots of cool things you can do. Also, it's possible here. Mike Straw was kind of speculating on this a little bit here, but he said you could possibly have dynamic crowds for Dynasty. So if you think about this, let's just say it's week 18, and one team is 2-14, and the other one is 3-13, and it's week 18. It's the last week of the season. Both of them are out of the playoffs. How many people are showing up to that game? Probably nobody. However, the NFL, because of how particular they are about their presentation of their product out there to the world, would tell EA, hey, make the crowds full. Don't make them dynamic crowds. We don't want it if our home team is losing by a zillion points, the home team leaves. That's what happened in real life. But on the game, they're like, no, always full crowd. So that's one of those things that's like a small thing, but it's also like, yo, man, that's one of the ramifications. Take that times every single aspect in the game. You're not going to be able to have that with Madden. You could be having that with EA College Football. I actually remember a story here. You guys remember there was one of the NCAA football games back in the day. There was one time they went a little bit too far. They actually had the ability to celebrate with the mascot. If your mascot was a husky, you could mush the husky or something like that. Again, I don't think that's going to be in the game, but they do have a little bit more leeway to try some things out. All right, this next one here is cool. This is the Dynasty updates we need to talk about here. So again, these are all not all direct quotes. A lot of these are paraphrased, but you understand what's going on here. So wear and tear will impact longer and more sim-like games, Dynasty-type games like myself. Again, Dynasty-type games, we're talking about more so of the road to the college football playoff. Those games right there. And again, he said that basically the longer the game goes, if you were to take the game, let's just say standard quarters are 5 minutes, and you make the quarters 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes long, something like that. I don't think I'm going to do that. But if you were to make them longer like that, you would definitely notice players getting tired more. So that's what happens in college football, is because there's momentum is heavy in college football, heavy emphasis on, having deep teams. There's a reason why in the second half, those higher level teams, let's just say who recruit at a higher level, are able to overtake. Oh, it looks like, Clemson's down in the first half. They're able to win in the second half is because they're so much deeper. Every single play is just another opportunity for them to take advantage of the fact that they've got 4-star guys on special teams as opposed to another team that they're playing. Also mentions here that you won't be able to expand the playoff. So he said you won't be able to expand the playoff. What that means, I don't know, because this year, remember, this is the first year they're going to have the 12-team playoff. So the first round buys, in addition to the 8 bids, that means there's going to be 5 automatic bids, including 4 for the top 4 highest rated conference champions in the country, and then the 5th one will probably get it. More than likely, that 5th one's probably going to be some sort of G5 school, well, G5.5, depending upon what you think the Pac-2, Pac-12 is. But you understand that they're probably not going to be able to make the playoff a 64-team playoff. You're probably not going to be able to make the playoff a 36-team playoff or something like that. So probably only going to be that regular playoff. It also said no BCS calculations. Now this is weird. I don't know why this question was asked per se, because if you think about the BCS was a computer system in addition to a human system to kind of make sure that you got the top 2 teams involved in the national championship. Now they have the College Football Playoff Committee, which, remember, they're not actually going to be voting on your dynasty from a week-to-week basis. So that's going to eventually be a BCS calculation in the form of what they think they're going to pick. So that was kind of a weird question, but there isn't going to be you can't turn on and turn off the BCS in the game. One big thing here was really cool was, again, you can see the fact that the presentation of this game, Eric Rayweather mentioned this about Madden. The problem with Madden is that every game kind of feels the same in terms of the presentation of it, and it gets fine. Now, this game is cool because you can say, okay, well, for big games, you're probably going to have the broadcasts are going to feel like they're big games. You're going to have Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. For the smaller games, you're going to have, Reese Davis, David Pollock, and Desmond Howard. You're going to have that crew out there. So I really like the separation between those games because on the, NCAA 2014, the game that I'm playing right over there, you have national broadcasts, local broadcasts, and non-broadcast games. It's cool that they were able to differentiate between the 2 broadcasts. As to whether or not there's going to be announcers on non-broadcast games, I have no idea, but we're continuing on here. So he said there's going to be some sort of traits for recruits. Now, what I think this is I don't necessarily think, and he said that he thinks he leans more towards there being superstar abilities and X-Factor abilities in the game. As to whether or not that's going to happen, I have no idea. But there are going to be traits. So as an example, one thing about traits is it's really difficult to, from a video game perspective, it's really difficult to put into the game how often somebody's going to get penalized. So as an example, there are some really, really good players who get called for holdings a lot, who are actually really, really good offensive linemen. There are some players like Jawan Taylor had like 10 false start penalties on the season. He's actually a pretty solid right tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. So what do you do with that? What they do is they've added traits. So like a person who gets a lot of penalties would be a undisciplined player trait. Somebody who's got like a strip ball player trait where he really, really is good at stripping the ball. Again, whatever that is probably going to be in the game in some capacity. As to whether or not somebody can add, remove this or that, no indication there, but this is what we have so far. You will also note, and this is the big one here, you will notice the difference between 5-star players and 2-star players. And if you're like, okay, what actually is the difference between a 5-star player and a 2-star player? I'm going to show you real quick. This is the class of 2023. This is Caden Proctor. He was the number 1 offensive tackle in the country. He was the number 5 player in the country, the number 9 according to the composite score across all the recruiting services. He is 6'7", 330 pounds. This is Francis Mauigoa. He is 6'5.5" and 330 pounds. He is the number 2 offensive tackle in the country. So 5-star Caden, 5-star Francis, 330, awesome. This is Austin Bueller from my Montana, the good old Helena, Montana. He is a 2-star prospect. So remember, that's the discrepancy here. The 5-star player is going to feel different than the 2-star player. So the 5-star players, those tackles are both 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 330. Good old Austin here is 6'6", 240 pounds. So the 5-star players are almost 100 pounds heavier than the 2-star players. That's what that means. So you will notice the difference between those two types of players. However, he did mention here that low-star recruits can still become stars. So it's not just because we all know this. I mean, Josh Allen for the Bills was a 0-star recruit. So you can tell that they can still do this if you give them enough time. Low-star recruits can still become stars. That's one of the things he wanted to make sure that he said. So you're not screwed automatically if you're a 2-star versus a 5-star. You can still make it up there top. One thing I want to deep dive into here is the deeper recruiting than previous games. I actually gave it its own section right here. So deeper recruiting. So what does that mean? Well, I'm trying to theorize based on what it was before and what it is now. Because when they say deeper, deeper than what? More than likely what they mean is deeper than NCAA 2014 recruiting. So I am knee deep in the recruiting right now in NCAA 2014. I'm trying to get, I need to get a kicker and a quarterback because right now next year the quarterback, I don't know who's going to be my quarterback. But anyways, more of a passive system. What you do, you assign points. Whether or not people like you or not, it just depends. You just assign them points and you just let it kind of run that way. There's no way to give promises to recruits. They only could promise to somebody who wanted to transfer. You already kind of know their likes, dislikes, their pitches, whatever it is. Oh, I already know he wants to go to a big-time program. I already want to know he wants a lot of NIL. I already know that he wants to have some playtime. You know all of those things before it even starts in NCAA football 2014. And also there's no transfer portal and there's no NIL. You think about what EA College Football 25 could be from a recruiting perspective. Again, this is speculation, but let's think about this really quickly here. I wouldn't be surprised if they have active recruiting where you actually are, in the old games, you could actually call somebody up, ask them about a pitch, discover the pitch, and then emphasize that pitch, whatever it is. Or you could do something like that. You could also set it to be passive in case you're like, all right, I'm kind of in a hurry. Me personally, I'm a sicko. I'm going to go as deep as I need to go. Pause. Anyways, so also with that, though, is I think that the promises for high school and transfer portal recruits, as well as current players, are going to be in the game. NIL will be included in the promises. And I want to make sure that we're clear about something. It's extremely important that there's negative ramifications for somebody who you give somebody a promise to and it doesn't come true. As a matter of fact, it's happening in real life college football for the University of Florida right now. So if you go to Google, if you go to X, whatever it is, and you type in it, Jaden Rashada, you are going to get article after article after article about the huge crap storm they are in, they being Florida and head coach Billy Napier, because of a promise gone wrong. So you can see here that Florida hatched a plan to land Jaden Rashada, which resulted in him never taking a snap for them, but their head coach getting sued, the quarterback taking a backup role in the biggest SEC rival, and giving $150,000 to the Miami booster they were being against. I love college football. So right here in the complaint filed today by Jaden Rashada, Billy Napier allegedly promised $1 million if the QB signed with Florida on National Signing Day. The filing states Rashada never received that payment or the $13.8 million for the contract he signed. So again, article after article after article after article. So if you don't think that a negative or not following through on a promise doesn't hurt you, you just aren't paying attention to real life. And I also think what's going to happen is they're going to return to a call system. You're going to find out what somebody is interested in as opposed to already knowing what it is. You're going to kind of have to give them points. And again, there will be a passive way of doing it. Me, I'm a sicko. I'm going to go deep into it. And then last but not least, we got an update here. So it said other tidbits here. It said what will eventually be on PC. So right now the game's not on PC. Like I said, they wanted to make sure they could get it out for the consoles. They're prioritizing that first. The next thing here, though, the plan for Team Builder is to be released the first week of July. Oh my God, that is huge. So again, what happens before is typically Team Builder comes out. He said Team Builder is not going to be too intricate. I said they might have the ability to create a custom stadium. I don't really know where that's going to be at, but I do know that the game is going to have Team Builder and it's going to be released sometime around the first week of July, he said, for sure. So we got all those updates, and we have a unofficial but rather official piece of information from Mike Straw. Team Builder is estimated to come out right now the first week of July. And again, whether or not that's confirmed or not, he's like, I'm pretty sure that's when it's going to be it. Mike Straw reported himself, Team Builder coming out the first week of July. Let's go. Get your logos ready, okay? Because I'm going to be making tons of teams. All right, guys, what do you think about all that? There's so much to go through there. I personally love all the Dynasty updates. Again, more than likely, we also know that, Matt Brown right now is in Orlando. He's in Florida with those guys. Whatever they're working on, I don't really know. I'm trying to get this thing released as early as possible. But anyways, you guys get in the comments. Let me know what you think about all that stuff. Let me know what you guys hear about and what you guys want me to make videos about, and I'll be doing that. But beyond that all, please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.